All right, the Reds, it's Talking Reds live from Liverpool with me, Gareth Roberts, with him, Mo Stewart. And it's fair to say it's a bit of a slow news day today. We've had a look at the stuff that's around and about, and you know, what can we get stuck into. I've seen really shit tentative links with Mbappe. No, can't be arsed. I've seen Coutinho saying he'd struggle to go to any other club because he loves Liverpool so much still. Fuck off. And I've seen Alan Shearer still going on about what Klopp said on Saturday. Lad, it's Tuesday. Fucking move on. So we don't want to do any of that. But what we are going to do first off is we all watched, or me and Mo watched, Monday Night Football last night. And there was a few interesting things on that. One of them, which I enjoyed and which made it entertaining, to be fair, was the comparison of Klopp and Solskjaer, Man United and Liverpool, and obviously you've got Neville and Carragher sat there. Now Neville, for me, I don't know about you, Mo, really has a blind spot about Man United and really has a blind spot about Solskjaer. I think he's excellent, I think he's good. I used to absolutely hate the fella. Thought he was the epitome of mank with his little bum fluff beard. And he literally did an interview with a fanzine once upon a time saying he hated Scousers, and I sort of respected him for that because I thought, well, same lad. I hate man.
I wouldn't want anything else from my rival.
Exactly, yeah. But you know, he's got his career now and he's pretty good and all the rest of it. But just on United, I just think, what are you on about? Like, Solskjaer to me is just like a character out The Office. Do you know what I mean? Like when he does his interviews, I'm just cringing every time. There's always something he says, or a crap joke, or you know, a step too far in making excuses, whatever it may be. Where you're just like he did one the other day where he just goes, "We've got a good academy, you know." And you're like, lad, you spent shitloads of money. Yeah. What are you talking about your academy for? I don't know. But anyway, let's start with Neville.
To be fair, this is normally what happens when you start talking about Man United. It's like at some point I have to just grab you. And
shut up, get him around.
But no, I 100% agree with what you said about Gary Neville and Man United. It is his blind spot. And the worst thing about it for me is the fact that everybody else seems to know that, because no one really seems to pull him up on it. And they pull him up on lots of other things. Like they have the kind of Liverpool Man United banter where occasionally he'll say something, a little bit, an offhand remark, but no one will really drill down into the fact that what he's saying is rubbish. Like, for example, one of the things that he was saying is that the reason they've gone for Solskjaer is because they've tried the big manager thing and it didn't work. It's like, well, no, you've tried those big managers. Like, this is, well, I think he was talking about Van Gaal and Mourinho, but I think to say that Van Gaal and Mourinho are representative of the entire cabal of elite managers in football is maybe a little bit optimistic, I think it's fair to say. And then he goes on to say about they just need Harry Kane. That's all it needs. Like,
that was mad, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like if you just put Harry Kane, an elite striker, into this team, they'll be fine. That's all they need. That's all they're missing. Look at what happened with Chelsea. They put in an elite striker and he was the missing link, and look at how amazing they are. They spent all that time talking about how amazing Lukaku is. No mention of the fact that Solskjaer had Lukaku and couldn't do a thing with him. Like, there are times when you have to look at the evidence in front of your eyes and be like, okay, well, he's the same and he's the same, but the results are different. What could it possibly be? And I genuinely think that Solskjaer is a better manager than I gave him credit for. A better manager than I thought he would be. Like, you can't look at the last 2 or 3 years and say the Man United he took over and the Man United they are now, they look a lot more of a strong proposition. They still look far away from getting the league, but they've got better. But when you look at who they are fighting with, us, Manchester City and Chelsea, you still have to look at people and players and coaches in that squad and say, you're holding him back. And that's the truth, I think.
The other thing is as well with them, I mean, it's the point, like, a lot of them, including him there and including other, positive Man United fans, if you like, they're pointing to that they finished runners-up last season. Yeah. That's 74 points. Like, that's not going to be enough to win the league. They're not anywhere near it. Before that, they got 66. Before that, they got 66. They got 81 the season before that, finishing second in 2018. 2017, 69, 2016, 66, 2015, 70. Like, basically 2013, they won the league with 89.
Yeah. I still don't know what happened. I think there was some kind of weird collective.
They got
memory.
89 the season before. They won the league in 2011 with 80. They got 90 in 2009. What I'm saying here is it's a while back since they got the type of points and went on the type of run that means you can win the league. And I just think, like, why aren't they saying that? Do you know what I mean? Like, with Liverpool, that's sort of the opposite of that. Like, Liverpool have got 2 seasons there that aren't a long time ago, and that featured the majority of the players we've got still at the club. And they got 97 points, and then they got 99 points.
I think Carragher made that point, though, when the jump that we made between getting the 75s and getting to the Champions League final, which they did mention, that also happened in that year, and then going on to the 90-point bracket, which we were able to do for 2 years in a row. I think that jump is the key. Like, you can't look at Liverpool in that year where we nearly won the Champions League and say we didn't look like we could make a jump because we had just put Mo Salah into that team and we had clearly just made a jump. We just put Virgil van Dijk in that team. We're just about to get Alisson Becker. There's the jump. So Man United are thinking, okay, well, we've done the Van Dijk-Becker thing if we look at Sancho and Varane. But I think it's going to take more than that because essentially what Liverpool did with Becker and with, Alisson, I don't know what I'm calling Becker, and with Virgil is we fixed our biggest problems. Man United's biggest problem is still the midfield. They have not fixed that problem. And
the foul in the dugout.
Well, yeah, exactly. Maybe he's part of the reason they haven't fixed that problem.
Let's have a run through what he said, because as I say, there's not a lot else going on. The Reds won the mini derby. Gordon scored a goal. We're all excited about it. We'll get a game in the Cups. Can't wait to see him. That's done. Champions, they both said Man City. So they join the long list of pundits that have now said Man City will win the league. Top 4, Carragher said it would be obviously City, then Chelsea, then Liverpool, then Man U. Neville said it'd be City, then Chelsea, then Man U, then Liverpool.
Just couldn't help himself, could he?
He just couldn't help himself. He couldn't help himself. And then he said when he justified it, he said their squad is much better than ours.
Interesting. Not true.
I
mean midfield. I literally just said it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Also, they compared Klopp and Solskjaer, which was interesting as well. So they compared their first 99 games. So 99 for Klopp, 99 for Solskjaer. 1.89 points per game for Klopp, 1.86 for Solskjaer. Points per game rank 4th for Liverpool, 3rd for Solskjaer. Trophies 0-0, runners up twice for each. The interesting bit, net spend, Solskjaer 314 million, Klopp £30 million profit.
And again, I think you can look at the £30 million profit and be like, well, he should have got more money. It's like, no, we just used our money better. Like, again, that's how it's supposed to work. We sold someone for a lot of money and we used that money to bring in other good players. That's supposed to be what football is like. And we did it well, whereas they weren't able to do that. They brought in players after players after players on big money, and then they couldn't get them to work, and then they either had to try and fit them in or leave them on the bench. Like, what's happened to Donny van de Beek? Like, really, what's happened to Donny van de Beek?
How much did you pay? Where is he? What's happening?
Any ideas?
Even Sancho, I mean, like, he's coming in, he's on the bench. Like, you know, for all the fuss and for how long it took them to sign him, I'd expect he goes straight in and he's a starter every week.
I mean, they're probably using the old excuse of he's been exerting with England, but you know, all the other England starters, I think, started this weekend, didn't they? So Walker and Stones all have.
Surely the fans want to see him. You know, he's the big sign and all of that. You've made the big fuss about that. Putting him on the bench, I know you can do the Klopp argument and say he's settling in, he's finding his way, but you can also do the Tuchel argument and just say, look, he's that good, I'm going to throw him in and I'll give him loads of information, you know, later on. Because that's what he did with Lukaku.
It was, and I think the other thing that showed as well is that he's kind of fudging a really big decision. Again, is that Greenwood.
Solskjaer.
Greenwood is the one who was playing where Sancho would have been playing. And Martial is playing where Greenwood should be playing. And Martial didn't really do anything of note in that game, and hasn't really threatened to do anything of note for a while. Rashford's out injured, so you can understand why he's not there. But come on, you've got this guy Greenwood, who's clearly itching to get up front, to show that he can do it on a regular basis. You've now got this guy Sancho, who gives you the perfect reason to move Greenwood out of where he is. Just make the call. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, don't. Keep fucking it up. Keep fucking it up. I mean, Carragher's got his underachievers. They were asked to name an underachiever. Carragher's gone United, and he said, for all the money you've spent for the squad you've got, I don't think you're going to do anything type of things. So that, you know, obviously you got a bit of debate out of Neville off that. Neville very obviously went for Arsenal, who I think everyone expects to do fuck all. So to say they're going to underachieve,
I mean, is that relegation battle? Like, I'm looking at the fixtures, and I genuinely think there's a chance that they could have 6 points after 6 games, which would be interesting to see how.
I'm interested to see who they get when they sack Arteta as well, which is inevitable. Top goal scorer, Jamie went for Salah. Gary went for Lukaku. Young talent, Jamie went for Smith Rowe. Gary went for Havertz. One to watch, Jamie went for Sancho, and Gary went for Varane. And that's sort of it, really. Should we get some comments? Because we've talked a lot here. I introduced across social media, by the way, that Mo Stewart has never had Coca noodles.
It's true. It's true.
You know, the staple of any man's diet, surely. A home and bargain's finest. Seems to be in some issue lately though, and they're not in the shops very much. But some fellas tweeted me saying he's in Trafford and he's managed to get a box by the way, of the curry flavour, which is what I'm after. You don't just buy one packet when you see them, you go, yes, the boys, and you get them in.
See, this is my problem with Noodle. This is why I haven't really I haven't developed beyond this, is that when I first went to university, I was doing my first bit of shopping on my own, you know, a little bit green, didn't really know how to compose a meal or anything like that. So they had an offer on super noodles, but it wasn't really super noodles, it was like supermarket owned brand noodles, 5p a packet. So I bought 30. I thought, you know what, I'll just buy as many as possible. And I thought, maybe they will be nice, maybe I'll kind of learn to love them, or maybe I just won't care. None of those things were true. They were awful. Like, and the other thing about them is that the sachets of flavour, it's not a sachet. Like it's not as big as my thumb. So it's basically just noodles.
See, this is where the Coca Boys have nailed it. The little sachets flame out.
See, but this is the thing, right? I threw out the whole genre of noodles.
Oh, come on.
Like, I've since now, even now when I'm cooking.
That's like saying you had a wimpy burger and just fucked off any takeaway from then on in.
Well, no. Okay, maybe it is a bit. But like, I think there are so many other ways with noodles. Like, you can get the softer noodles, you can get like the ones that you have to boil yourself and then you do them yourself. I do those. Like, I add noodles to meals. I don't use noodles as a meal.
Let's see what everyone's saying then. Okay, so we've got Steve says chicken or curry, what should most try first? It should be curry, Mo. It should be curry. John McLean says, morning Robert, do you think we'll move Divock on before the deadline?
I think we're trying to.
I think we're doing our level fucking best. I think he's been hawked around Europe, but he doesn't particularly seem keen on going anywhere. I think he's staying.
I think he's staying. I think in terms of contract, he's probably the only mistake that we've made. I still think it's wild when you think about it that Divock got a new contract and Genie didn't at that point. It's just like, lads, just give it to me, I'm like, okay. Yeah. But yeah, so he's going to be around.
Yeah, I think so as well. Jay Kelly, Coca noodles are heavy, chicken ones are the best. Adam says, Mo has never had Coca noodles. If this isn't a live stream of a walk to Home and Bargain and the walk back to watch him try them, I'm switching off. I mean, there's a Home and Bargain on Bold Street and we're not far away.
Have you seen the weather outside?
Sad?
No. Like, if someone can, as I said, if someone can bring me a bowl of noodles and put it in front of me, I'll eat them. I've got no problem with that.
Your lordship here?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, listen, can I also bring up the fact that yesterday you were doing a show with a nice fat bacon sandwich and we're talking about bleeding noodles?
Beautiful. Yeah, get on that. It's new show we're doing, the bacon butty. Let us know what you think.
Looks really nice, that.
It was sound. Robbie says, is Mbappe coming to Liverpool?
No, not yet.
Tom says, burning question is, what flavour Coca noodles do you reckon Mo would be into? Curry, we've done that as well. Jay Kelly says the curry ones are better. Ben says, how would you set up the team to deal with Chelsea's wing-backs?
Ooh, now that's a good question.
That's a good one, isn't it?
It is. I think, personally, it would all depend upon the midfielders. So I'm looking at using Fabinho, Henderson and Keita.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because the way we've seen from Keita so far this season, he does operate further out wide, but he's very good at screening the passing lanes in that area. So that's going to be the key. He's going to have to be able to shuttle across for the times when Trent's further up the pitch, because they are going to look to get in behind that space. That's probably the best way to try and attack us. So he's going to need to be across there when that happens, but he's also going to need to be inside, looking at trying to block passes from Jorginho, Kovacic, Kante into Lukaku. So I think it's going to be it's one of those things where everybody has a very important part in the whole machine that we're going to use to try and block him. But I'd say from the perspective of the midfield, that's probably what I'll be looking to do.
There's also the dynamic that while there's a lot of praise for their wing-backs, I think they might be a little bit worried about our boys.
Yes.
Because we're not the flat-track bully type people. We're fucking good.
No. I mean, one of the things that, because they did the whole bit on Monday Night Football about Lukaku and showed what Arsenal were trying to do and where they went wrong and stuff like that. I think personally, there's a lot of talk already about the Virgil van Dijk versus Lukaku matchup, and it's almost like a heavyweight boxing clash. They're going to be standing there doing the mean look to each other. Nah, Joel Matip's the key. Joel Matip is absolutely the key to this game, because for a lot of the time, the way they were talking, you don't really want to go and engage. You want to kind of give some space so he doesn't know where you are. And it's the second ball, so if it's Havertz, if it's Werner, whoever comes around it, they're the ones. And if you looked against Burnley, Matip was the one engaging. So if Virgil's kind of over here, behind Lukaku, trying to make sure he can't go off on a run, Matip steps ahead, intercepts the ball, or even if Lukaku wins the ball, he there freights it up right into Havertz's face. So that's what you're going to need. And then
Yeah, Carragher was talking about Virgil, wasn't he, saying, how comfortable he is when it's 1-on-1 or even 2-on-1. He sort of finds a way. And Carragher was saying, it still gives him kittens watching.
Well, I think if you look at the way Liverpool defended in the first two games, I don't know whether or not it's just Virgil trying to ease himself back in, but Matip has definitely taken it upon himself to be the aggressor. And the other thing Chelsea like to do when Werner's playing is they like to get in that channel between right back and centre back. That's where a lot of their goals came. If you look at the goals they scored against City in the semi-final of the FA Cup and the Champions League final, it was a ball from one of the midfielders in behind for Werner, who then crossed it to another one advancing. So that channel, which is going to be Matip's job, because as I said, a lot of time Trent's going to be high advanced, that's really going to be key. And I think that Werner will play, and I think Matip will keep him locked.
It's going to be a belter on Saturday. Looking forward to it already. Steve says, now that SpongeBob, he means Shaqiri, has left for Lyon, what was his best moment as a Red?
It's funny, isn't it? Because he had a lot of moments, but without ever really feeling like he was part of the team. My favourite, I want to say the Man United goals, because it was Man United, but also because they were both deflected. And I just love the extra layer of narc in that, the fact that they're like, oh, it's fucking deflected. I'm like, yeah, and it still went in. Yeah, I love that.
Ball for Gini against Barca.
Obviously.
Ball for Mo against West Ham. I think that might be his last assist for Liverpool. That was something else, that.
And he just scored one free kick as well, didn't he? I think in the League Cup he scored a free kick. Was it last season against Lincoln? Am I remembering that right?
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. So, there's plenty of little lovely moments, and all the best to the fella.
Yeah, I just liked seeing him enjoying playing for Liverpool.
Yeah, just a little mad bastard. A lovable mad bastard. John says, how can Neville say United have a better squad with some of the cack they have? Martial is there, Origi, only Divock has scored more important goals. Robbie says Neville is a tool. Come on. Xander says, with talk of time wasting, what do you think of introducing a shot clock like they have in the NBA? The keeper gets a 6-second clock started when he collects it. Free kick if he goes over time.
Oh, you mean for the goalkeeper?
Yeah, he must mean the keeper, yeah. Yeah, he does mean the keeper.
That's interesting because like
they sort of try that and then not do it.
Yeah,
well, Suarez used to be appealing for that every week and never got it, and now it's just sort of like it's just gone.
But every time they've tried to do that with keepers, they've just ended up forgetting about it. Because do you remember the 6 steps rule?
Yeah, it just gets fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. No one really wants to enforce
What I don't get with the time wasting, honestly, though, is when you see it and when it's blatant. I always think, why don't they nip it in the bud like dead early? So as soon as you see them doing it, run over and go, I'm on to what you're doing, one more time and it's a yellow.
Yeah.
And then give the yellow.
And it doesn't matter if it's in the 3rd minute of the game, because
exactly.
if they've started doing it in the 3rd minute of the game, then you know
which Burnley did.
Exactly.
You know, you straight away, you're like, look, you can see what he's doing, he's fucking about, he's kicking the post, he's moving the ball, all of those things. Just go over and go, lad, no. Yeah. I'm not having it. One more and it's a yellow. But they never seem to do that, and it's like, I don't get why not.
I feel like there were certain times where Mike Dean kind of turned his back and just ran up the pitch, knowing what was going on behind him, and just like, well, if it looks like I can't see it, then I can't really get involved.
Jimmy Allen says the blind spot from all pundits is madness. Kevin Kilban actually said that Liverpool don't have enough to catch up with the top 3. We are the top 3. Crazy, says Jimmy. There's absolutely loads here about noodles coming up. Please answer any news on Ronaldo. No, mate. Matty, here are the boys.
Do you know where you are?
I know that was a while one, wasn't it? Someone's spicy sesame. I always see them and go, they're surely shit. But if you say I should give them a go, mate, Chevalier there, I'll fuck it, I'll have a go. I mean, I'm only going to waste 9p, aren't I?
Go nuts. I was thinking it's mad that you guys love these noodles and yet they only have literally 2 flavours.
Oh no, there's other flavours, but some of them just seem to get fucked off. Curry and chicken are the popular ones. Chris Lawley says, we're short of cover at work, Divock can man the phones. There's also a recommendation for some noodles from Costco there. Kimchi, is that how we're saying that?
Oh yeah, my old housemate used to eat kimchi raw, so I'm probably not going to have that because that stank.
The Wolfman's Got Nards says, Aldi samosas or Aldi onion bhajis. I've had neither, have you?
Whichever one's least likely to have peas in it, that's my answer. Okay. So I'm going to go onion bhajis probably.
There's an Mbappe 2021 show. Tim Parks, I used to love this as well. He said, I used to love the way Suarez counted to 6 with his fingers every single time the keeper got the ball. He did. He used to do it. And then he'd jump up in the air and go, referee! And
honestly,
the referee would go, shut up, lad. No one's asked about that rule. But he still did it.
He did. And it's funny because I must admit, watching Bruno Fernandes, at the moment, I do get annoyed with him just thinking of all of his history and that sort of stuff. But then I do think of Suarez, and it is different when he's doing it on your behalf, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. And you just think, yeah, come on!
All the little last things he did, like, you know, the way he sought out the handballs in the box, and he'd chip it onto your hand.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, and then he'd appeal, and you'd be like, lad. But it was kind of genius at the same time.
Like, if he was in Serie A right now, he would be having a field day because their handball rule is ridiculous. I don't know if anyone watched the Napoli game at the weekend. Literally, a fella got the ball booted at his hand from about as far away as the camera is from us. Twice! And they gave a penalty both times.
Excellent. Mark Simmons says, Robbo, there's kids watching. What have I said?
I'm not going to be held responsible for anything you said, mate. But
I can't remember what I've said. Sorry for whatever it was. I'm getting everyone's offended lately about everything aside at teams. Anyway, my stepdaughter used to eat the noodles as crisps, says John there. Someone asks if Lukaku is still a flat track bully.
No,
I think he's a bit better now.
Yes. I think there's an element of wanting to believe that he's still the same guy as he was at Man United, and that's kind of why you've seen a lot of the clips of saying, oh yeah, like Van Dijk handled him last time, behind him the same this time. He is different, and I think we have to give players the opportunity to develop as people and as players. I also think that a lot of the things that he was doing at that time when he was at Man United were counterproductive. It was almost like in his mind he had to be this muscle mountain, and it just didn't really suit his game. So he's a little bit more intelligent now. I think if you think about is he a flat track bully? If you look at Serie A last season, go look at the Milan derbies where he was up against Zlatan Ibrahimovic and he came out on top every single time.
I was on that. I was just going to say, actually, for a fella that is Everton's top goal scorer in the Premier League, has also played for Man United and is now at Chelsea, he's a very
I really like
man.
him, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he did that great interview, didn't he, with that site that seemed to appear then disappear, where they were doing big interviews with players. He talked about his mum and his background and all that. It was fantastic, and it was like really honest, really open, and you just thought, he seems a good fella. And I seen him getting interviewed about signing for them, and again, he was just like, he was really calm. He looks like someone to me who's worked a lot on psychology side of the game and stuff like that. And I think he'd be dead interesting to interview, but just a shame he's at Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly. I think the problem with us interviewing him, we wouldn't be able to avoid bringing up some of those games.
We could just laugh about Everton. I mean, there's always that, isn't there? There's always that option. Someone says kimchi noodles stink. Paul Collins says, Mo, how's the album countdown going?
Oh, very well, actually. Yesterday was day 62. And it was Outkast's Speaker Box, The Love Below. And if you haven't listened to either of those albums, listen to them both. And it's mad because in my head, I had a kind of an image of what I thought they were. Like this one was like this and this one was like that. They're actually a lot closer to the link than I thought. But it's 2 hours, it's definitely going to be worth your time. But in general, I love listening to music. So it's like the best thing I've made myself do in a long time.
My current music recommendation is a band from Manchester called Pastel. Look them up. Honestly, boss. Anyway, when are the Anfield Wrap back on tour? Any plans, says Stephen. We're always looking into that, mate. You know what I mean? It's all a bit difficult at the moment, isn't it, with knowing where we can travel, when we can travel, what the rules are and all the rest of it. We do want to get back to it, though. We all enjoy it. And it's something we've really missed. And it's something that got kiboshed by COVID. We had loads of plans to go over to America. Into Canada as well, I think, and all kinds. You know, we had all kinds of plans, and we were really looking forward to it. And like everyone else, things got kiboshed by COVID. So yeah, as soon as we can, we will. I think is the answer on that. Just like Milner, Steve says, just like Milner and Robertson rated biscuits on LFC TV, we need Mo and Robbo rating noodles on the Anfield Wrap.
I'll be up for that.
I'm up for that as well. I'll be banging to that. Someone says, Oscar Pimpernel says, I watched the interview I think he means Lukaku, did with Carragher at Everton, it was really good. Yeah, nice fella. Lots of people saying, will Robertson play? And then someone else replying saying, I'd start Tsimikas.
It's difficult though, isn't it? Because we can, to a certain extent, overreact to good performances because I think Tsimikas has done fantastic. I said he was man of the match on Saturday and I stand by that. I think the challenge of Burnley and Chelsea are very different. I think it's going to be one of those situations where you need not only concentration and confidence, but you need absolute trust. And I'm not 100% sure Tsimikas has yet earned that trust amongst everybody. You know what I mean? That kind of, that almost automatic.
Even the manager, by the way, in terms of he's hooked them twice. You know, he doesn't trust him to do 90, does he?
No.
He talked about him being unplugged.
and I mean, you can see what he meant against Norwich. It literally was just like, but I think when you look at, I mean, Klopp's not going to say that this game's any more important than any of the other 38, but we know it is.
Him being on the bench was interesting, wasn't it, Robbo? Because, you know, I think we all thought, oh, well, that's it, we'll see him the other side of the international break. But to see him on the bench at the weekend, you were like, oh, hello, how's that happened? And people are saying, look, he's only just coming back from injury, and I get that. But this is a fella that we know will run through walls and will do everything possible to get back. And look, if he's ahead of schedule, he's ahead of schedule. If he's ready to go, if the doctors are happy, I'm playing him.
I think I am as well. And just from the perspective of the boost it gives to everybody to see, you know, the unit back together as strong as it possibly can be. And in the worst case scenario where in the future, again, something happens, we can bring Tsimikas back in and it will be fine.
And we know it's fine now, which is the good thing, isn't it?
On the flip side though, if it does turn out that Tsimikas does start, I'm not going to be shitting myself. I still think that he will be able to play well. I just think that there's a different layer of confidence and security that you get from Robertson. I think also, and I wrote this in a piece that I did Liverpool.com, go and read it all out there. Robbo will be very aware of how he got into the team, which is basically Moreno was playing really well, then got injured. Then he got into the team, was fantastic, and never looked back. And I mean, there's lots of people talking about Tsimikas having his Robbo moment against Burnley, and it's just like, I don't want to get into that situation. I want to nip that in the bud right now.
In training this week. Whoa, that's what the lamp out. Jordan, I've topped the lamp out. Hey, that was good, wasn't it?
Just watching yourself back on the video.
I just watched me taking that out there. It's all right. It's just been knocked off a pole. It's not broke, so that's good. Someone says they love this format. So much fun. Thank you. Mark Simon says, repping the Manx, you traitor. The Kowloons are the best band. I don't know them. Do you know them?
No, I don't.
I haven't heard of them, but I'll look for them.
I think music's one of the only areas it's all right to rep Manchester. And not the whole place, but you know.
Yeah, and I agree on that. I think the two cities both produce good bands, and we can just sort of agree on that and go and watch each other's bands, and we'll forget about 40 and everything else for a bit. Do you think we'll sign someone?
If we sell Divock Origi, then I do think we'll sign someone. Otherwise, I don't. And it's one of them. You can see a world where it makes sense, and it's a risk. And you can see a world where 6 months later we're saying, why did we sign someone? I feel like they've bought enough credit for us to trust their decisions. If you ask me what I would do, I would bring someone.
Yeah, so would I. It feels to me though like that they've looked a lot of people quite seriously, because you think about what we've done across all the gutters and other shows and all that. We've talked about a lot of players, but also some of those talks have been around people who know, if you like, reporters that you know you can trust, not just bullshit merchants. I've said it's a credible link. Yeah. So it feels to me as though they've looked, they've asked, they've talked, and nothing's been the right price for them to want to do it. And I wonder what changes in 7 days.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. There are a few other clubs who may start to get, like, for example, if they've got stars who are on that 2 years left in their deal window, and they've had an indication that they're not going to sign a new deal, so now they're giving up on making them sign it, and now they're putting them up for sale. That might be the only thing that maybe Liverpool think, well, he was on our list and now he's available. Is this the right time? Can we make this deal work? I don't know who that would be, but there are the kinds of things that have happened. I mean, I know that it's happening with Edward Camavinga, who has been linked with us, but with lots of other people. But I'm not 100% sure that's going to be the one, but it's an example of where that can happen. So I think those are the kind of things that I'd be looking out for if you were genuinely thinking Liverpool going to get someone in. But yeah, I think no Divock sale, no new ploy.
Yeah, John makes a good point here, saying as well, I think we have people we want, and if we can get them, we'll land them, but we won't go for second choices. I agree with that. I think that's Liverpool have been doing that for a while now, which was a change from the past. Okay, well, we'll leave it there. I think we've done a good job of talking about literally nothing. You know, so we come in this morning going, nothing's happened. And then we've ended up talking all the way through. What are we on now? 11:15. Mo's now going to go and do a gutter.
Yeah.
I'm going to prepare for a show, 3 Strikes, this afternoon. There's loads of new stuff on the Anfield Wrap, both video and podcasts, writing on the website as well. You can download the app for free. You can try the premium content. You can see if you like it with the tokens. And if you do, you can subscribe. Yeah.
Send all noodles here at the Anfield Wrap. I will get them.
We'll go and check on the health of the light of the Reds.